do my thing, blowing some money, I'll make it rain. Stop, I'm going big, and if you can't come, that's fine by me.
Hey everyone! Today's video is special. All clips were made with Midjourney image to video by me. First effect, slide. Go to effects, then search slide effect, drag it onto your clip to apply. Then, in the inspector panel, you can adjust the direction. For example, make it slide from left to right, or top to bottom. You can also set the border to 0 if you don't want any edge, and turn motion blur onto 1 for a smoother slide. That's what I'm using now. Of course, there are many variations you can try, and I'll also change the ease to in and out for a smoother animation. Now, hold Alt and drag to copy the transition to other clips as well. This way, you don't have to set it up again and again. Let's check out how it looks. Alright, let's move on to the second effect, speed up, or what we call speed ramping. First, let's watch the clip and see where we can use this effect. I want to speed up two parts here, the rotation, and then when the car starts moving after getting in to do this, we need to add speed points to the clip. First, press Ctrl+R to bring up the retimi controls. Next, just select the part of the clip where you want to change the speed. I want it to end right before the driver shows up. Okay, once you've got it, pick the speed point at 100%, then change the speed. I'm setting it to 400%. Let's see how it looks. You'll notice those little blue markers got closer together. That means this part is now playing faster. Now, let's go to the other part of the clip and do the same process again. I'm placing the second speed ramp right where the driver has already gotten in and starts driving away. This effect is great whenever you want to add a bit more energy to your edits, like for car scenes, action shots, or even simple transitions. I'm also speeding up the end of the clip to make it feel more dynamic. Though to be honest, the AI-generated ending isn't perfect, so I might just cut that part off. Let's check out how it looks now. After that, I'm going into the keyframes to smooth out the transitions a bit. Here you can see the new keyframe panel. It makes adjusting your animations so much easier. I'm opening up the keyframe editor now, and you can see the curves here. This is where you can fine-tune the speed changes. Now, let's select the start and end points, highlight them, and make the curve smoother. There are other options here too. You can adjust the speed by dragging the curves up, or change how smooth the transition is by shortening or extending the ease handles. If you're finding this helpful so far, make sure to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more editing tips like this. Here you can see that if you drag the curve up, it speeds up the clip, and if you drag it down, it slows it down. And that's it. Let's check out how it turned out. Like I said, I cut off the ending because I didn't really like it, and I think it looks way more dynamic now. Give it a try yourself, and let's move on to the next useful effect, zoom in, which I've used quite a lot throughout this YouTube tutorial too. Alright, for this zoom effect, I'm first checking the video to see where it'll look best. I want to add two zooms here. The first one will be a simple zoom in on the front headlight. Okay, let's go to the inspector panel and set a keyframe at the start of the clip for both the zoom and position. Next, move forward in the timeline to where you want the zoom to end and set the second keyframe. Here, we're adjusting the zoom and the X and Y position to focus on the headlight. Since the X and Y are linked, you only need to change one value and it will scale evenly. Now, move forward to where you want to keep the zoom held and add the third keyframe there. And finally, set the last keyframe at the point where you want to return to the original zoom and position. Let's check out how it looks. The clip already had some zoom originally, and adding this effect makes it stand out even more. Okay, let's move on to the second zoom, where we're focusing on the wheel. Here, we're not just zooming in, but also adding some sideways movement to make it more dynamic. We've placed the first keyframe, now let's add the second keyframe for the zoom in. Now, let's use the position X setting to move the image left or right. And if you want to move it up or down instead, then you'll need to adjust the position Y setting. Now, let's add the third and fourth keyframes as well. There are other ways to use zoom effects too, but I'll show you those in another tutorial. I honestly think zoom in and out is one of the most useful effects out there. And it's actually easier to do in DaVinci Resolve than in apps like CapCut or even Premiere Pro. And here's the final result. Looks pretty cool, right? Alright, let's move on to another simple but really eye-catching effect, camera shake. Camera shake is a great effect to use as a transition or just to add some extra energy to your videos. It can really make your edits stand out. So, head over to the effects panel, search for camera shake, and drag it onto your clip. If you hover your cursor over the effect, you'll see a quick preview of how it's going to look. Then, just drag it onto your transition. You can adjust all the settings in the inspector panel to get the exact shake you want. You can also change the length of the effect, but only if there's enough trimmed footage on the clip to extend it. You'll notice that if there's not enough trimmed footage, the edge shows up in red instead of green. You can also adjust the contrast, brightness, and saturation of the effect to match your clip better. I'm going to use these settings now. Feel free to try these out and adjust them however you like to fit your video style. After that, you can copy the effect to other parts of your timeline. Just hold down Alt and drag it to duplicate. By the way, if you're into editing, I've got some Photoshop tutorials on my channel too. Make sure to check those out as well. And that's it for this effect. Now, let's move on to something a bit more complex, the blur in text effect, where we'll be using the Fusion panel as well. First, go to the effects panel and drag in a text plus tool onto your timeline. Then, just type in whatever text you want to use for your video. For me, I'm writing Dodge Challenger, a great car in the video. Now, let's head over to the Fusion panel. This is great because it gives you way more control over your text animations and effects. Right-click on the text node, then go to Follower. This will let us animate each letter individually. Next, click on the Shading tab. This is where we can adjust the blur settings for the text. Now, I'm setting which frame I want the effect to start from. Go to Properties, and set the opacity to 0 at the start point. Then, move to the end point and set the opacity to 1. This way, the text will fade in smoothly from completely transparent to fully visible, creating a nice reveal effect. Once that's done, go to the spinner to soften it a bit. You can also adjust the size settings here to see it more clearly. Then, just select your keyframes and press S. This smooths out the curves, making the animation look much more natural. By the way, Fusion is DaVinci Resolve's built-in compositing tool. It's super powerful for creating more advanced text animations and effects like this. Okay, now let's move on to the softness setting. This will control how smooth and blurred the edges of your text appear. Here as well, first select the starting frame and set the softness value to 30. Then, go to the endpoint and set the softness value back to 0. This makes the text start out blurred and gradually become sharp and clear, creating a nice reveal effect. And just like before, go into the spline panel here as well, select your keyframes, and press S to smooth them out for a nicer, more natural animation. Alright, let's check out how it looks now. Okay, now let's design and adjust the look of the text. First, go to the Modifier tab. Here, you can change the direction of the animation to fit your style. Let's set the delay type here as well. This will control how the animation delay is spread across each letter. Now, let's check out the text settings. Right-click on your text node and select Character Level Styling. This allows you to style each letter individually for more detailed designs. Here, you can choose the font, adjust the size, and set the spacing between the letters to get the exact look you want. You can also design each word individually here, giving you full control over how your text looks. And if you select them all together, you can adjust the spacing and other parameters for the whole selection at once. Okay, once we're done with everything, let's go down to the Nodes panel at the bottom. Press Shift plus Space, and search for Glow to add a nice glowing effect to your text. In Fusion, the rectangle appears between the two nodes because it represents the connection or the flow of data between them. Basically, It shows how your effects and adjustments are linked together in the composition. In the inspector panel, you can also adjust all the glow parameters here, like size, glow, and blend, to get the exact look you want. This is where you can really create your own style and make your text stand out the way you like. Let's check out how it looks. I think I'll make a small change here, maybe adjust the color a bit to match the overall vibe of the video. I'm thinking a red glow might look better, like a red dodge sign with a matching red glow effect. Just a small tweak like this can really make your text pop and match the style of your video perfectly. Let's check out how it looks. And for a final twist, go to Settings, then Composite, and set it to Difference. That's it. Now it looks really awesome and unique. And that's it for today's video. I hope these effects help you make your edits stand out even more. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more editing tips and creative workflows. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.